Our first guest is a registered dietitian and host of the web series, Fiorella Eats. And she does a lot of things, you got to check that out. And she joins us today to, well, she has a take on the food industry and the American palate. You got to tell us more about that. Give her a big round of applause, everybody. Fiorella is in the house.
Thank you. Yes.
You always have something interesting to talk about and something to create the awareness that, you know, we need to do this, we need to do that, and we need to cut that and cut this.
Yeah, so this, you can see this demonstration today is a lot different than the usual foods I bring in.
I see a lot of sugar here.
Yeah, so, you know, the food industry has its little tricks up its sleeves. You know, it spends millions and millions of dollars researching a year how to create food products that will not only add more calories to our diet, but also promote us eating them more, you know? It's kind of like a trick. It's kind of a somewhat of a manipulation.
And
so they do this.
It pulls a responsive chord. When you're in the supermarket, you see, and it makes you reach for it.
Right, right. And so they work a lot on the oro sensation of food, right, which is everything. Basically, it's not only the flavor, it's the crunch, it's the mouthfeel, it's the emotional appeal of the food that attracts us and through the marketing. And also what they also do is that they create situations in which we know that the human palate is stimulated by salt and sugar, among other things. But those are the biggest, right? And what those two things also do, salt and sugar, also create feelings of thirst and dehydration. And sometimes when we're thirsty, we drink more, obviously, when we feel thirsty. And sometimes when we're thirsty, we also eat more. So it's kind of all rolls into this kind of promotion of a physiological and emotional effect.
So you begin eating for taste instead of nutrition.
Yes, and you also get hungry. Some of the products actually make you hungrier, right? So this is kind of how it works. So you look at something like this, and this is basically, this works in a couple of different ways. First of all, it introduces food groups in the American culture that in other places, other countries, in European countries, are just not there. The concept of drinking juice or soda all day long is very much an American concept. Most people will drink water all day and occasionally have a juice. Because at the end of the day, this is really just sugar water. Okay? Now, and it's promoted as a health product, but in fact it's not. And their children being brought up from a very young age with their palate being so attuned to very sweet things that when they have to have a piece of fruit, the piece of fruit is not going to taste attractive anymore after they've had like probably 40 grams of sugar in this one bottle.
And a lot of these things early in life can create a lot of degenerative diseases later on in life.
Yes, yes. And what this does is it promotes you eating more products just in the way that it's constructed. So if you look at something like this cereal, right? If a mother or a person would go into the store and they're like, oh wow, look at this, a cute little bear, you're very harmless, look, 10 vitamins and minerals, and it's fat-free. Looks good to me, right? And one of the reasons that it's fat-free too, right, is because they promote on the side here to drink it with skim milk. And you know me, I always tell you, don't drink skim milk, put fat in your milk, because if you don't do that, it makes you hungrier. Right? And then you can't absorb the vitamins in the milk either, the calcium or the D. So here you are. You're having a bowl of this in the morning with skim milk, okay? So in other words, what you're doing, in about a half hour, this is basically our carbohydrate and sugar and salt. So not only is it making you thirsty, but there's no good fat in it to keep you fuller longer. So you eat breakfast at 10 o'clock, by 11:15, you're starving.
And that's those ingredients there.
Yes. Yes,
I see the high salt content.
That's right. You can imagine salt in here. And so by 10:45, you're starving, and that's what the food company wants you to be, hungry.
So you eat again and buy more products.
That's right, because the same company who makes them, has a bunch of like bars that they can sell you to eat as snacks, right? And so these bars are, why are you eating bars? Like, you know, snacking. There are countries, my family's from Italy, you know, I've been to other places.
Hey, paisan, hey.
Yeah, there's no snacking. You eat your 3 meals. If you're hungry in between meal, you grab a fruit and that's it.
You don't have to snack anyway. Eat an Italian meal.
Right, that's very true. So you eat a good meal, you know, and then there's not a lack of the snacking, right? So there's a lot of these incorporations in the American diet that this is totally normal, snacking and having desserts and, you know, and so forth, right? So basically at the end of the day, where they're getting you, like if you look at something like this, they tell you, you know, these are convenient foods. You come home, you pop it in the microwave and you're done, because we're so busy that we can't make food. They also tell us that, right? When in fact, instead of doing that, why don't you just source out the cooking labor to your children, to your partner, and you like, you know, find some time to do it together.
Nothing like a good old-fashioned TV dinner. Remember TV dinners?
Right. At the time, it was quite trendy, but now it's basically what you're having right here. This is all sugar. It's all salt on paper. That's what you're doing.
And if you're putting something into a microwave, not to knock all the people who have microwaves, but
yes. Right.
you can talk about it. I'm not
Right,
going to say
right,
anymore.
and so that's not.
It kills all the nutrients in the
Yes,
food.
yes, and then you know there's some things that are fairly obvious. Like you pretty much know that whatever this thing is, this is not found in nature. All these ingredients are not even found. These are all man-made. I don't even know what this is.
You mean there's nothing red in nature that we can eat?
Right. This pink, you know.
Pink
But
is red.
that's fairly obvious. But what about when the food companies actually start, you know, marketing products to you that are healthy? Like for
Yeah.
example, look, fat-free, vitamins. Now you got the regular chips, right? But
Uh-huh.
then you got also these kind of like new healthier chips.
Those are my
right?
buddies, though. What are you talking about?
Right. So they
Those are
make
my
you
buddies.
feel, well, what they do is they make you feel a little bit better because now you're not having these guys, you're having these guys, so now you feel a little bit better. But at the end of the day, look at what's inside of it also. Basically, it's like, what is this? What is this thing? This is like a constructed, refined corn that is
Supposed to be
super cheap.
popcorn.
Yes, super cheap to make, right? Because if this thing costs like $1, this it costs 1 cent to make, right? And so if you look at all of this in here, it's all modified this, maltodextrine, all these different things, tons of salt.
But I'm in love
Sugar.
with the popcorn.
Yes, but what it does now, if you have the wherewithal to control yourself, meaning that you're not going to get so thirsty off of this that you're going to go reach for this,
there you go.
or you're so thirsty off of this, right, that
So
your
each thing has
sugar
a
craving.
side effect
Right,
to
right.
get you into something else.
That's exactly what it is. It's not so much, you know, sometimes it's not so bad. Okay, these are fairly lower calories than these,
Yeah.
but what behavior is it going to produce for you in the rest of your day?
JetBlue
right?
flight. Get one of these.
Yeah. and then the others, like for example, something is like yogurt. Oh, super low cal, fat free. And look at this, it's strawberry cheesecake flavored.
Oh my God.
And this is how the American palate is really, in my opinion, being ruined in that everything is a dessert now. Not just the desserts, but everything. Our coffee's now a dessert.
Wow.
Our yogurt, it's supposed to be a beautiful probiotic for your GI tract. Now
Yes.
it's turned into cheesecake. And so, you know, when you're eating everything, milk is now chocolate milk. You know, it's like, why does everything have to be turning into a dessert? So then when someone has to drink just regular milk or fruit or vegetables or something that's a little bit more healthy for you, their palate, their sugar and salt tolerance is so high that they won't want to eat it anymore because they're used to cheesecake yogurt.
Give her a big round of applause, everybody. Registered Dietitian Fiorella DeCarla. Where can we get more information on you?
FiorellaEats.com.
All right, thank you so much. All right, very great information. You're going to come back with more, of course.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You're always welcome back. We're going to take a quick break right here, but coming up next, we'll take a look at an event with a goal to heal. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.